Hey everyone, welcome. You're having a great morning, great afternoon, a great evening here. We are here for the 150C Solo Circuit Finals stream coming to you live here on MK Central. So we're super excited. We got basically like a whole day of action ready to go. We have a full gauntlet of 48 racers that are trying to get to that top spot and be the 150cc solo circuit champion. And I believe I'm joined side here alongside Rookie. Rookie,
Hey, what's
how's your
up?
morning going or afternoon so far?
Oh, it's still morning, but it's going as good as it's gonna go, I suppose.
Yeah, I can't even imagine for some of the West Coast players waking up for this, but this is going to be, a whole lot of fun. And I think, realistically, going through these rounds, there's 48 racers, and they're kind of eclipsing through different rungs of this ladder, trying to get to the top. It's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't had this event since 2016, so to get to the finals day again is just kind of exciting, I suppose, for all those who were around back then. I suppose they may remember we had a pretty fun last day, so hoping that we can perhaps have the same thing. And hopefully, for the sake of the players today, no Discord crashing like we had pretty much all of last weekend with the 200cc stream. But yeah, we've got a lot of games ahead of us today. A lot of different, like even more players, even more buys, even more rounds. So yeah, we'll be uh, we'll be jam packed for a lot of action today for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that some of the craziest storylines kind of going into do this is that there are 48 signups. So if you signed up for the tournament, I think more than likely you're able to start. There's a couple unique names. I know Green signed up last minute, and he's relatively still kind of newer overall to the scene, 5 months in. So he didn't get to participate in a couple rounds. So it'd be kind of interesting to see him in the first round with some of the players that are playing.
Yeah, a
And
lot
I
of people
know,
did get in last second. So
yeah, and like
yeah,
Pyrax isn't making it number one seed. I know Darky told me before he's focusing on a traditional land tournament outside today. So
yeah,
it's kind of interesting just to see how some of the different players up at the top didn't end up making it.
yeah. Darky is finding his money recently. Got the bag last weekend, and thinking maybe better off, getting the money in New York or something today. If that's what I think, that's what I heard. So
Yeah,
I'm not
so I know,
entirely sure.
yeah,
Pyrex,
there's
on the
this
other
one in New
hand,
York.
is kind of missing in action right now. Nobody's able to contact him, so unfortunately, with no chance of check-in, it seemed. Unfortunately, just had to kind of give up on that. So I think for round one, we will be following Cudge, as you all probably know him. Infamous sandbagger in the highest levels in Division 1, but today we're going to be getting a point of view that shows him racing for the top. So interested to see his perspective on the game, see how that all goes. And I believe his stream is now up, so we'll be seeing that very shortly.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I know a little bit about Cudge and kind of his background bagging, especially there in the ranks at D1. So it'll be exciting to see. And I know too, a lot of these guys have also been kind of present in some of the other free for all tournaments that we've had in the past, or a good majority of them. So I'd be kind of curious to
Hmm.
see how those players are playing. In addition, obviously, the ones that have participated in a majority of the five different installments, I guess you could say, of the 150cc solo circuit throughout the year.
Yeah, and I will say that most of the players in these most of the players in, I guess, the first rounds, or like the first two rooms we're gonna have today, a lot of them kind of barely got in, I suppose. But you never know who can actually make the run all the way to the very end. I believe that Seabass is in this round, maybe not this room. You definitely would expect him to be able to perhaps make a really good run there. A lot of perhaps sleeper players. I think we saw Audi make an amazing run in the JDRF tournament, getting, I believe, top five at the very least, maybe even higher than that. He is in the other room also. In this room, we got Mitch, Sebi, who had a really good run, Chibi, a few hard hitters, I suppose. Uh, I think Aplex is going to be hosting. Haven't seen him play. I think in FFA 2 recently. I may be mistaken on that, but you know, he's a quite capable player on his own. So A lot of
Yeah, a lot of these names, yeah, too, they're very familiar. I know Impo as well. He was in our room for the
he's been doing
JDRF
well recently,
qualifier.
I think.
Yeah, he came back. He was very good, especially late, and
Mhm.
ended up getting one of those top 6 spots. So I'm going to look out for him as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure who I'm going to be expecting to take this round. I'm glad to see at least 10 people in the room already. I think we'll probably be getting hopefully 2 more, at least 1 more, I would think. We'll have to see there. This is the annoying thing about FFA is waiting when there isn't just 12 people immediately waiting until the time is up just to realize that they were never coming anyway. But we will see, I suppose. Have the
Yeah, it's
other
always
Mitch
that
coming
fun
online
waiting
right
game.
now. Yeah, we actually have 2 Mitches in this tournament, so
Because I believe there's UK Mitch, and then there's American Mitch. Is that right?
yep.
Oh no,
Oh
he's from the
no,
Netherlands.
NL Mitch, I would say.
Yeah, NL Mitch. Okay. I'm so used to D6. I saw there was a Mitch that joined Higher Octave, so shout out to you for throwing me off there.
multiple Mitches, all distinguished by country somehow.
Well, hey, that makes it easier, I guess. But yeah, and it is 10 players. So I guess the real story here is that in round 1, match 1, you're going to have, I believe, is it Ketz? Is that how you pronounce number 25 there? We've got Aplex, Impo, Ruskov.
I would presume so, but I'm not entirely certain, I guess.
Okay.
So
We're on board with Kuj. We got Sergio, Julian, Panna, Mitch from the Netherlands, Owensy, Green, and Chibi. So this will be a fun one to watch. I'm kind of curious who the player missing right now is,
how
and
many are
I'm
in
hoping
right now? I think there's 2 that are out.
there are two out, and I'm just hoping as we get through that my mojo
Good.
comes back because it's still 8 a.m. for me.
I can't tell if Pana is in or not. I think I recognize Owensy in here also. Maybe not. It's hard to say. I can't tell who that Daxme is, but I know it is not the man himself. So we'll have to see. 3 more minutes. Top 6 will be advancing regardless, though. So
yeah, and that top 6 will be joining in some shape or form, because I believe we are doing it off of seeding when we go into some of these later rounds, the 12 that are locked into the quarterfinals as well. And that's a really solid list of 12 there too that will for sure highlight in the next few hours once you kind of get to that step. So it's really kind of unique. And then you also have the top 12 that are locked into the semifinals that are going to meet another 12 that make it through not only for round 1 but the quarterfinals as well. So it's kind of like an extra added layer here in the 150cc solo circuit compared to
2 different rounds of buys, or 2 different waves of buys, if you will.
Yeah, the really cool thing there is that you had to have gotten such a high average score over the course of those several different solo circuit events over the course of the year. I know I came into the scene in March and I missed 1 or 2, and then the others were just at times where, I mean, because of my skill level at the time and because of the fact they're so early, you got to really play your cards right with them. But it's really cool because these are literally the top players from 150cc. We saw 200cc last week, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of early to tell. I know, Rookie, you're in this and is in this as well. But are you in the position or at the point where you kind of want to make some predictions, or you're going to see how the day goes?
The whole event. That's really, really tough, I think. But I will say that I'm guessing there's probably greater than a 50% shot that somebody currently starting the semifinals wins, just because the players up there tend to, have to earn their spot. They're usually generally some of the top players we have, and also just the fact that they don't have to run the possibility of drowning in quarterfinals or round 1 is just so huge in a game that's so riddled with luck, I suppose. So just having the extra buffer, I suppose, is actually a big deal, especially in MK, because you never know what's going to happen in some of these early FFA rounds.
Yeah, and it's wild too. And the first FFA I ever did on MKC was that JDRF one, and there were times where I'm coming in off of a D6 team, going up against guys like you and Mike B and Impo and a lot of these other like really well-known players that are really respected on their team, and things happen. You can dodge a shock and steal a win. You can position yourself in ways, and the reason I ended up losing was just from a situational standpoint. This is why I bring it up. There was a shock on Sunshine Airport, and I was very far behind, but I got enough mushrooms to pass the field. Problem is when I went over that jump on the baggage claim, there was a Phantom Red sitting there. So it could just be a luck or a freak thing, but that does go to your point, Rookie, about having that ability to make it into the top 12 and have that set of 2 buys essentially. And I know I think UUU, Ace T-Man, they signed up late, but they locked themselves in there at 4 and 5, and you got Zeeb, James, Maxim, Monfy, Cinda, Reese, Kai, Rookie, Valor, and Valor and Neo all locking in those spots.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're about to get underway. We are 1 race in, and all racing Imagine dodging TM, but I would not expect anything else from a 150cc FFA. So Kaj will be our point of view there. I thought for a second he's going to be deciding to look backward more than forward. So we may get a pretty interesting perspective today. It's obviously kind of tough to be consistent in FFA, as we talked about, I guess. A lot of times winning comes down to certain polls, I guess, and just how you played in every scenario up to that. You may you could potentially do everything right on the last race and not get in, but if you didn't set yourself up earlier in the race or get the best opportunities, you never know what may happen to you. So anyway, Kaj, I think we may be seeing sandbagging a little early in a lot of races. I think that's probably a part of his play style, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of epic comebacks this round.
Yeah, and it's always a fun point of view to watch someone bagging, and he did get hit there by that third green right before that item box at the previous lap, but he's coming up here in 7th, have the golden shroom, has triple mushrooms, getting a pull here now. It's just going to be another 4th mushroom, so now it's just kind of mired in the mid-pack, just has to avoid some of that fire.
That was underrated going the opposite path, honestly. Like, a lot of people would just go left because there is just out of habit, I suppose, but now he's just going to have to watch out for greens, red, and I can't really emphasize the importance of, like, being, I suppose, I don't know the word, maybe elusive, I don't know. Being hard to hit is definitely, like, a huge, giant aspect of bagging. I mean, it obviously helps because you can cycle through stars a lot, but, like, you work to get 10 coins, you can't really afford to lose any of them here, so weaving in and out of traffic is a giant deal for a player who's trying to get away with strategies such as this. Gonna have to watch out for the wall, so.
And he did just get another single shroom, so he does opt to go right again, the safer path. You can see the fire up on the left path, and this is the set of turns that I personally do not like here in TM.
That's a great pull. That's a great pull.
Was a great pull, and now I was able to use this shortcut here effectively. It's already lap number 3. 4th place goes to Kaj.
That's smart on his part right there. He knew that green was going to be coming back last turn. Such a common spot, and he knew also not to be directly in the line of back spam in the cut also, because that's how you get a top spot and go down to 10th so easily. Just getting back spam by somebody on the line who just ruthlessly doesn't care about what happens to the people behind them as long as they got second. So good stuff on him, not taking the easy bait, getting a good finish in the first race.
Yeah, that's definitely you got to have that sense of like intuition to avoid some of that, because there's players too, and I'm going to be in a free for all here myself in a few hours later tonight, and that just like to watch the world burn. They like to back spam at the line, and it's just discouraging. But obviously, these top players have that awareness to understand. Okay, I can expect this coming from here around this blind turn, and
it's something that really all players should be able to like think about, I guess. Like, think about like where you're going to be getting hit the most, I suppose, and think, how can I get out of the situation before it even begins? Really, it's something that doesn't require world-class driving. It's something that doesn't even require, I would say, world-class intuition. Just thinking about what's common, what's going to get you where. Don't let it happen, I suppose. And it's just an instant advantage no matter where or who you're playing against, I guess. So again, I think we're going to be seeing more of the same. starting off a little bit slow. Maybe want to try to get a few items here. Unfortunately, getting his box stolen from Sergio, but I don't think it's going to matter too much in the beginning. Just gotta keep on drifting.
Yeah, the benefit here in a 10-player room is that it's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say easier to a degree, but again, there's only 6 spots advancing, 4 are not going to, so it does make the burden a little bit easier for like Cuz, who is going to be bagging, who only needs to really be getting at a minimum 6.
He should have held that blue, I think, honestly, a set, because he wasn't going to chain there. I think that's only going to actually make his pull on the next set a little bit worse, which is not something you want to do when you're bagging. Because I'm looking at it right now, I'm expecting maybe 4 shrooms at best here with no star, and I think he wasn't even able to chain anyway there. Yeah, he got a single shroom. That single shroom happened because he threw that blue. So
yeah, and I think
gotta recognize when to hold, I suppose.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, Rookie.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm so tired today.
He's off the track.
That's not good for him. And I think Green was kind of bobbling. He might have anticipated that Green was going to go for that double box. There wasn't even a chain the triple mushrooms previously as well.
Yeah, this pack is way too close to get anything reliable here. He may be able to be annoying to somebody. He does get the double, which will help a bit, but I think it's going to be a bit too late to get something really good here.
Yeah, it's kind of spread out as well, too. So he's going to hold on for an 8th place finish. Not what he wanted, but it did look like Sergio and Green were fighting up there. Mitch, who had the lead, falls back to 4th, but it is going to be Mitch overall with Sergio there, and now Green moving up into 3rd as well.
Yeah, going back to the whole blue ordeal, I think the thing you have to consider here is you don't really need to get that item out really quickly. If you don't have to chain it to get something new, you might as well just hold it, because honestly speaking, in an FFA, if the blue gets shocked out of you, for example, that's not the end of the world in an FFA. Okay, so what? You didn't blue the guy in first, unfortunate, but I think toward the individual, at least at that point in the match, it's more important to think, what items can I personally get? Because I think that may have actually made the pack a little bit closer there, and may have made it a little bit harder on himself for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's for sure a good point. And I was thinking in my head as you were talking about that, it's a lot different than a 6v6 dynamic, and where the fact is that you got to be a little bit more selfish in how you're protecting yourself, because you don't have to worry about 5 other players.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6v6, a lot of times you just want to throw the blue even before you can think to chain it, but here, there's really no reason to rush, I suppose.
Yeah, and when the blue shell hits, it's going to obviously shorten the distance between first and then the gap between the pack, and that's going to, along with item change and pulls and where the distance of that player is, or Kuj in this case, it's for sure going to affect his item sets going forward. So yeah, that was pretty well said. And you kind of saw it with those shrooms, but we're going here into Sherbert Land for race number 3.
Yeah, I think Kuj is okay, enough with the bagging. Maybe it's probably more track dependent than anything, but at least making an effort to go here. I think he may be going wide for coins, though, after the somewhat unfortunate start. Who went for the double, did not quite get it. At this point, I think we'll just try to be seeing him try to be dodging everything, I suppose. He's going to have to watch out for this fire right here.
He's going to slide to the left.
Yeah.
Avoid that mayhem. And that's a cool little hop there, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my mind, I'm thinking cha-cha slide right
now.
Yeah,
I was high-key about to say slide to the right, but then he didn't slide to the right back, so it would have been super forced. But regardless, I think he's going with the path of don't get hit, which is, it's a winner, I'll say that. I would back the bomb here, by the way, to create some distance, but I think he's just going to hold on to the shrooms. That, and it looks like the reds in front of him are going to be kind of annoying, so I don't blame him for going underwater to kind of get out of the general area.
Yeah,
it would have to watch out though. There. Yeah, hold the bomb right there. That was excellent on his part. I think he got rid of the reds, but he goes off road just a little, and now he's kind of in a tough spot despite having max money.
Yeah, and then Sergio's there with that star piranha plant coming in. How we avoided green? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Man, is it Ruskov or Ruskov there coming in?
I've always said
with
Ruskov.
The star. That's what I thought too. Just wanted to make
get
sure.
Something good here. Okay, so 6 shrooms on the table right now. If he can get the last chain, he can still... Ooh, but he misses it. I think he could still get a decent spot, but... Ooh, and the fire is really annoying, and he's going to go star. Applex at the end.
Applex gets him. So another 8th place finish there for Kuj.
Yeah, another kind of rough spot. Looks like already we're seeing some separation at the very top. Notably, Mitch right now is looking to be pretty safe. Top 6 advances in this room, so not a
Yeah, looks like
lot that he will have to do here on out, but still 9 races to go regardless.
Yeah, like top 3 to 4 right now, trying to create a breakaway from what it seems. And I think we're seeing a loadout change from Cuz here too. It looked like he was going Roy, Scooty or Biddy. Kind of still waking up early here to catch this one, but we're seeing a really unique set of tracks. Obviously, the really cool thing is you're going to see a lot more variety from a free-for-all standpoint. Just not only because of the fact that that everyone can kind of pick for themselves, but because of the fact that they're picking tracks that they like, tracks based off of their specific placement. So it's cool to see the variety. But we're going to be heading to Music Park.
You will have to see it, honestly. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game, one of my favorite ones to look at, point blank, and it's always a fun one to see what happens because it's one of the ones where I would say everything works. You can definitely come back on it, but running itself is also pretty deadly, so definitely more than a lot of tracks in the game. I think you can survive the first turn and free-for-all much more easily than you can on other tracks, I guess, due to the nature of the turn.
Couple unique points where you can shock as well, especially over some of the the drums, I guess you could say, like the one coming up here around this turn.
You kind of have a mini Bill Strat around this point also, I would say. So definitely a lot of cool, interesting strategies perhaps. And ooh, that Firepower is going to take him down really early. I was not expecting it at all personally. I would have got hit too.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, and that's Aplex right there, who I'm sure Cuz has a mental note of after what happened in the last race there at Sherbertland. Kind of an interesting pull here. Does get triple shrooms followed by a boost secondary, so might be just kind of contingent on him chaining these shrooms here and what he's going to ultimately get from this boo right now. And it is going to be another set of, well, actually, no, it's not the triple shrooms. It's going to be a red shell secondary.
Okay. I don't know if he actually hit him in time, but that's so annoying when you just have a star and get just redded in the back. But the other day I was talking with Zio. Actually, we were just like we were playing split screen. We were actually chilling, hanging out, played some split screen lounge because we're cringe like that, and it was kind of funny. I pulled a boo behind him or something, and just got a red in the back. And I'm like, if you've ever wondered why there's so many reds in the back, this is we're seeing firsthand how it happens right now. It's always one of those darn boos.
Oh, so you guys know each other IRL then? Split screen.
Kinda now. I mean, he is just on vacation, but he's back now, able to play. He's actually the 1 seed of the tournament now that Pyrex is. Okay, Cudge has just been invisible this race. He's been getting so many reds, so irritating. Aplex is going to have to deal with this. Probably not prepared for it at all. Something you hate to see from his perspective. Cudge has been doing good on the money right now, but the comebacks have just been, unfortunately, coming up short here. But wait, what?
I don't know what happened, but he somehow got to 4th.
What? And there's 3 people that just fell off. What?
And even Aplex, who just got low-key murdered,
oh my goodness,
just got 5th.
Guys, it's 2019. We gotta learn how to do the Music Park cut. No.
Yeah, that was wild.
There's a lot of bumps, but
I mean, when you were talking about the whole getting redded coming out of a star, I literally was having flashbacks in my head about that, and I was in this trance state. So I just saw 9th or 8th to 4th, and I was like, oh crap. But that's so real, and that happens a lot. I know in 6v6s for me, and even in the free-for-alls, especially too, when some of the ones that I do are very casual heavy, so you got to predict the counterplays of what should actually be traditionally done in a competitive stance. It's a little bit. The worst
part about that is just dealing with people who get red shells, and they're not going to think about throwing it. They just always will, and you just have to put up with that fact of life that people will never hold reds, even if it's better for them. But
yeah, it's wild.
It even happens at the higher levels too. It's very frustrating, I suppose.
Yeah, you're 6th through 11th. You're in a world of pain. But we're going to Moo Moo Meadows here for race number 5.
I'm not sure if Cudge is going to like this one too much. It's a track that very much kind of decides itself in the first 15 seconds frequently. We've been seeing him kind of dipping back, I would say, more than anything to start. So, and of course, getting hit also at the very beginning is not going to help that backing only helps you so much here. I think the strategy is just kind of be ready at the beginning more than anything. So this is definitely going to be an uphill battle with very few coins early.
Yeah, he's really just got to kind of be lucky enough at the liberty of others getting picked off, getting around them without getting tangled up in any collateral damage here. But it still can be done. I mean, with the mushrooms, and you can take some cuts in these upcoming turns here. Does chain that set of mushrooms, ends up getting another single mushroom secondary in 9, so that's kind of unfortunate for him. But here it is, that hard left-hand NASCAR turn that we're going to see.
Oh, well, but it looks like he's going to mess it up a little bit. I think he's yeah. So he's in a pretty good spot right now, honestly. I wouldn't worry about getting a top spot, but for sure holding on to what he's got right now. I don't think that was the line he wanted, but that was still good recognition to get the SMT to kind of save that slight choke. And this is going to be a nice pull for him. He's just going to have to watch out for any reds, I would say. I think he's going to use that there to get rid of the one
behind him.
Yeah, that was really no. There was a horn, and he was ready for it. So that's good stuff on him. You also, I would just hold this red. Honestly, there's no it's not worth it to try to take Mitch out right now. Who's the leader of the room?
Oh, and that's Applex right there. Those two have a history of each other. Just
why did Mitch try to backspam him? That's so rude. But anyway,
lucky for second.
Yeah, well, good for Clutch to not get hit there. The beginning was rough. After that, it seemed like he did mostly everything right. So we have a little bit of a top 3 breakaway right now, but the middle spot's very much up for grabs, as is the story for many FFA rounds, I guess. So at this point, our streamer is now on the inside, though. He only has things to lose, not on the outside looking in. So
go 1A. That's good for Cudge too, especially after the small string of 8th place finishes he had there, but. Kind of curious to see what happens this next track pick.
Yeah, definitely a lot of different things that could happen based on what happens here. Notably, it looks like there's only 9 in the room right now, so we will have somebody presumably getting a +3. Maybe, yeah, it looks like it. I'm going to take a little screenshot here just to figure out how many points there were.
Yeah,
because there is.
That is.
I think there's 58 in every. What was that, Cinda?
Actex.
Wait, who argued?
Was it Actex? Sebi. Interesting.
Wait, hold on, was Sebi in this?
I don't think he was.
He totally was. Oh, that's what threw me off, honestly. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's kind of a bummer, I guess, but regardless, I guess he said he wasn't at home earlier, so I guess the conditions may have not been, I suppose, the best for him, but regardless, it's kind of sad to see. Definitely don't want to see round 1 have not a lot of players, I guess, but I guess we will see what happens. The later rounds obviously should be much more jam-packed, but got to get the preliminaries, see who even gets there to begin with. So,
and I think that might have been Mitch, if I'm not mistaken. That was right beside Cuz there, but he does get hit with greens coming from behind, and it looks like Impo, Ruskov, Sergio all there as well, but Impo got saved by the star.
Yeah, a lot of people who are kind of rivaling each other for their spots right now. I know that Chibi, I believe he's in first, considering I think he's the only Wario in the room. Ooh, he did not want to go down to that. Have to kind of burn your star early to get the acceleration. A lot of Roy's kind of fighting for first now, though. So whoever's really in mid-pack and gets a top spot, just suddenly, like, all the momentum just swings to their side. And, if Cudge can kind of get him body bagged so far this race, him being in 4th, this could be very dangerous for him. Could be going right to the bubble or perhaps outside. Is looking like a last place for him unless something really bad happens to somebody else.
Oh, he's got that blue shell coming in, and if you notice, there was a small gap that was just kind of mitigated or minimized by Mitch and Sergio, who were the top 2 overall. So kind of curious to see what happens there. That Wario does get hit, but
that's going to be a knife, though, for Cudge. The blue is definitely not what I think he wanted, especially since it went around the cut when everybody was trying to go through it, so big race for Applex, get back in. Green past him. Looks like Cudge is still barely hanging on, but Ruskov and Impo were moderately close behind.
Yeah, and that was a tough finish for Mitch there at the top. He got 8th overall, and Sergio, I think, who was there with him, only ended up getting all the way up to 5th. So that was a very good race, at least for some of the guys fighting for that 6th spot to get some points, some big points to kind of shorten that gap a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to note is also 9-player rooms. It is a decent amount easier to actually come away with some firsts. So if there's any positive signs for those who are kind of on the outside looking in right now, at least a first would be immensely helpful right now, I would say.
Yeah, I know, like for me personally, I would always either be doing 10-person free-for-alls and then just switch to 12. And there is something to be said about like a 9 or 10-person free-for-all and how you can kind of manipulate the items there. We're going to be heading to Excite Bike, so if you're looking to manipulate items, this is probably going to be one of your favorite tracks. Here's, oh man, Cuz misses that item box, but
it may not be true. I would call myself a relatively expert item manipulator on this track specifically, but that does not mean I like it in any way whatsoever. So there's that. I don't know. I just think it's boring, personally.
I do too. I'm more of a Baby Park fan.
Just a bunch of rams.
Wrong, but
no, I'm not a big fan of DBP, but I don't know. I don't like either of them. I like road courses. I don't like ovals.
Yeah, I have a little
experience
in NASCAR, so I gotta rep the ovals. The circle track mayhem is what I call it.
Give me Watkins Glen or whatever it's called. That's the better. Like the ones that aren't just ovals, I think are infinitely more interesting. So
for sure. I only watch super speedways and road courses if I ever were to watch NASCAR, but that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. But I remember I remember like 2 road courses or something that they used to do every year or something, but. I don't remember the name of the other one, but
it changed its name. It used to be called Infineon. Now it's it's Infineon. It used to be called Sears Point, but it was there.
I think I vaguely remember
California.
That actually.
But, yeah, it's a fun track, but
yeah.
We're stuck with Mario Kart right now, and I mean, I don't know how to cast this because he's getting hit from the sides and the back from fire and green shells.
One thing that's really underrated here is like not taking the ramps lap 3, I suppose. He may have an opportunity to do this with the star right here, kind of get out, but that's not the pole he wants, honestly. You want to get like a golden or a triple shroom, honestly.
Yeah,
now he's gonna have to hope he gets something, and I don't think he did get a single shroom. I didn't see any of the shrooms get stolen above. Mitch goes down again. He gets the pole that perhaps he wanted earlier at the line, but 5th, not great, not terrible, but he will be caught up to by Impo. And despite the gain on everybody else, I think 7th is now just 1 point behind.
Yeah, so that top 3 is looking pretty safe, despite the fact that Mitch has gotten a series of 8th-place finishes. They have a huge cushion there, and it's Aplex and Green, 3 points ahead of Cuz, and Cuz is 1 point ahead of 7th place. So this is really turning into, again, like a battle for 6th, and it looks like there are still 3 spots up at this point up for grabs here in this specific match.
So I think to handle any calculations from earlier, I believe that our person who DC'd had 16 before. So if somebody just wants to keep that number as a note.
I don't think that would factor into the top 6 by any means.
I don't think so. Just, I suppose worth noting.
Yeah. Because I made that mistake last time in 200cc when I was talking with JK Sonic, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then you made the point, Rookie of Ulster, having if you had over 25 points with the DCs being a factor, and it turns out it did. And I was telling JK, congratulations, you made it through. And in reality,
I feel bad that I didn't make it through, because that's just like the worst feeling. Honestly, I don't just in life, like when I'm when I'm like able to comprehend that, like, I'm not gonna like continue the next round, I suppose. Like, sure, like I can deal with it, but like when you lose something and like you aren't even ready to like realize that like it's over, like that's when it hurts the most, I feel. Like when you think you get in, but then you realize you don't. So you're like, I think I'm through or something, and then just like there's a DC.
Yeah, I remember. It's rough. I was in a tournament, it might have even been one where Super FX had won it, in Vegas, and I qualified in. I finished sixth exactly, bare minimum, qualified into the finals. But because a player had a technical issue, they made me race him in 200cc Baby Park, and I won, it out, and I was so enraged that I screwed up the final.
To do that.
Yeah, because it was, I mean, legally I had the spot because I still beat him. It's not my fault that his, there's a technical issue of some sorts. Obviously here everyone's kind of going in online in this context, but long story short, it was just pretty wild, and then I had issues, and it just affects the way you play. But
as much as it sucks, I feel like everybody just kind of, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're prepared for matches. So please be prepared for matches. Bring a controller to your tournaments, etc. Okay, that was huge. Actually, going back to the race really quick.
That was huge. But you get hit by the blue.
Yeah, and that just sucks. Honestly, get hit by the blue after taking care of the fire, looking like maybe you're in an okay spot. But I mean, he can probably get something in the mid here, but top 3's gone.
Yeah, they are gone.
The star's going to help a lot, actually, but especially if there were to be a shock. At least he'll get the insurance now that he'll be dodging for the rest of the race. That was a bit of a misplay, I think, but like you weren't going to get a shroom for the cut anyway, so you might as well get the invincibility later, but it looks like it's not going to affect them too much, and he'll still get 5th.
I agree to a degree about that, but he used the star slightly early. But if you noticed, he was anticipating the blind green shell back spam, and it would have hit him, and it really probably would have given him last if he didn't use that star early. So kind of stinks because you would have.
I'm talking more about the boo than the star. I think the star was fine personally.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, it was
like increasing your dodge hitbox or like the amount of time, I suppose, because obviously using it in the star, you don't actually get it. So, or the invincibility, you just get the item. So
I didn't get to see the scores there, but I know we're probably more than midway through at this point, obviously, seeing a really unique selection of courses coming in.
Yeah, definitely a lot of them one of them's a repick, so we don't want to see that one personally. Maybe the other contestants would love it, but I think we're fine.
Wait, which one's the repick?
BC, we just played it.
Okay. I was for some reason thinking that was like another track. Still, I don't know. I haven't woken up yet.
Sad day. I wish we got one of those, but doesn't look like we will.
So this will be fun because Cheap Cheap, that final sequence of turns after that last item box will be mayhem, even for these 9 guys that are still left.
Yeah, especially on 150, there's always something that happens there. It's always kind of an interesting time, especially when you're not in the game and have to deal with it yourself.
Cudge hits the tree, trying to avoid one of the dragged red shells there. That did affect what looked like Owensy there coming around that turn, and now has this shroom here in 9th, but I think he's just trying to play the distance game right now and try to more manipulate this upcoming box.
Yeah, my guess is that he's not really too worried about catching up, but yeah, he's going to get a star here, I think. Never mind, he doesn't. That sucks. That's actually so unfortunate. But
is that Aplex that's just waiting for him? Because Aplex is fighting for, I believe, for that top 6, but those two, Cudge and Aplex, have just been trading blows this entire set of races.
It's worth it to know
it's getting personal now.
Is it getting personal? We'll have to see. This pack is so close that I don't think Cudge is going to even get stars, which is kind of a bummer for him. But he's going to have to catch up, perhaps, without a lot of the invincibility that he was hoping for. I think 4 shrooms here was honestly like the best case pull for him right there, because like we can literally see First just driving ahead. But unfortunately for him, there's so many items around. That bomb is definitely going to help relieve some of the stress, I would say, especially now that Mitch, Mitch did not get rid of the red, so he's going to have to chill. He's just going to have to find his spot, honestly.
Yeah, Aplex there does a little bit of the dirty work, but the red hits Ruskov behind him. So
now he's got to watch out on passing him, too.
That is true.
Ooh, that was rough. If Cudge can somehow manage a top 5 spot here, that'd actually be pretty crazy.
Oh, he doesn't get the box.
Oh, and there's a horn also.
And the red coming in from behind.
Yeah, this just looked like one of those races that was super uncomfortable the entire time for Cudge.
Oh, he's going to be a last here.
It's gonna be a loss, and that's just kind of unfortunate because the room was never like the cards never really stacked in his favor here, and now he is 1 point out behind Impo, while rival Aplex looks like to be kind of getting comfortable. So
He is, and despite all that carnage, Aplex manages to get a second place finish there, so it increased his total to 51, and he now has like a like a 7-ish or so point cushion between.
yeah, and that is the importance of getting stars. That simply put is the importance of pulling stars. Because just the temporary invincibility is so huge, honestly. But he's unable to get it there and just have to deal with a bunch of items up front with only 4 shrooms, and you can't avoid everything. And then when the 1 red comes, that's everything. Everything just instantly kind of falls apart. So you hate to see it, obviously, but I suppose for us, we now have a little bit of a rivalry to focus on when it comes to getting top 6 between Impo and Kudge, I believe it is. Kudge now 1 point out, so he's going to have to make some moves, I suppose, if he wants to move on in the bracket, I guess.
Yeah, and Impo is he gets hotter or when, like, it's the later second half of this 12-race series. So
you're saying he's a warm-up player.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I didn't know who he was, and then I was like, "Oh, this Impo guy," and then I looked up. It's like Julo, and in the JVZZ system, it's like, "Oh, wow!" Like, and I'm finding where my life in here.
Best minor league prospect system you can find anywhere.
That is right, isn't it?
System.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, they've been tournament threats before, so hard to say. I know that Julo kind of redid the teams, but they've definitely always been formidable at the very least.
For sure. I mean, that was probably the most fun I've had, and it really required me to literally be on 110%. So I would expect him to do pretty well. Aplex, they're getting second, and honestly, it was his red shell, like you mentioned, Rookie, that really did Kudge in. And he opted to wait, and really there's not much you can do when Kudge was.
I don't know if it was Aplex's red shell, but it was somebody else's. He used that boo at like the best possible time. Got to give him credit. I think he's fine to actually use his shrooms here, get the protection out, because I think he will pull a shroom given the lead from first right here. So, never mind, I guess. Always going to take somebody down. But maybe an Impo, actually. I'm not sure who the Dry Bowser is. I need to pay better attention, I suppose.
Fire coming from behind. That might have been Aplex there. Yet again, sending...
No, it was Ruskov.
It was Ruskov? Okay, and then there was something else.
Dude?
Ruskov again with a hit there. Sends him back to 8.
First.
I believe that's either Impo or Sergio.
That's Impo, dude. That is a really rough statement for Kudge. Chibi looks like he overtakes it, but he has just not been far back enough to really get anything but trip shrooms and stars, I guess. The bomb comes in. It looks like Chibi's going to be taking over this race, maybe punching his ticket. Kudge, I think, can get something out of this at the very least, but he misses the jump. So Impo, I think, is going to increase the lead just a little bit, but on the bright side, he does get a little bit of distance on Onsi. Ruskov actually pulling ahead of him also. So
yeah, they're still relatively close. I didn't check to see what race number that was. I did earlier. My memory is just god awful. I believe that was 8, 9, or 10, maybe 10. So
yeah, I think it was race 10. So
10. So this is really crunch time now.
Yeah, Kudge needs a good race sooner than later. Sooner than later, for sure.
So we're seeing some DKJ picks coming in, a couple Super Bell picks, Mute City, MBC, and it is going to go to Animal Crossing. So realistically, yeah, Impo's got 49, Ruskov 46, Kudge there at 45.
Did Kudge pick this? I'm curious.
I was going back and forth between screens. I
think I saw him picking it earlier. I know this is a big Arcadia track, his main team, so perhaps hoping the team magic can spread to him in the FFA setting. We'll have to see. It is springtime, even though it's definitely winter outside right now, at least for me and all of us Northern Hemisphere people. You really hate... I hate winter, dude, but...
That's why I moved from Boston to Vegas. It's nice here.
Yeah, that's
And every week you got $700 guaranteed Mario Kart tournaments. What more can you want?
that's low key like that thing alone is like low key like justifying me moving to Vegas straight up.
Oh, I'm
Like,
dead
if
serious.
I
That's the
worked-
reason I'm still here, to be honest.
Like, dude, that's money. That's money in the bank.
Yeah, it's there's a few of us actually have a thing with ESPN on Thursday.
That's awesome.
Me and another casual player with the NCAA basketball team or something. So that'll be kind of unique.
Move
But
to
yeah, there's
Vegas,
lots of different
everybody.
opportunities that we're kind of like honestly blessed to get, and I think it's really cool seeing this scene as well. Obviously, the competitive staple of MK Central, just striving. It's getting some awareness brought to it too.
Oh, Ruskov had that bomb that barely missed Kudge. I was
was
about to
up in
say
the air.
that 4 through 7. Oh, and Ruskov goes down. This is a big opportunity for Kudge. So
Especially with
all
these
these
three
players
shrooms.
all these players that are on the bubble were right next to each other earlier, and I think Kudge is actually ahead of all of them right now. Mitch and Chibi rounding out the top 2, who have already pretty much stamped their ticket into the finals, and
He's got to
just has
avoid
to
Green's
not-
green.
yeah. Oh my goodness, he gets through out that bomb.
Whoa! You
Back
avoid
on-
Chibi's
Oh,
green.
the banana! Oh, and that shroom
Oh,
pull is
no!
huge. I think he's
He's
fine.
still
I think
going,
he's
he's
fine.
still
If
going.
he doesn't get backspammed, I think he's good. That is really, really big for Kudge right there because I don't think anybody else he's competing with really got good spots. So I think that
Oh yeah.
okay,
fell
he is
down a little bit.
-1 to Empo right now with 1 to go. Ruskov's still kind of in it. ONC, I think, needs a first to have a chance, and even then, I think he may be buried still.
Yeah. So Onzi, I believe, must have gone.
ONC is less than
seven
1% chance to make it through. Running the calculations now, it's pretty much just Kudge versus I would say Kudge versus Impo. Ruskov
And
maybe
Ruskov.
with a first place could have a chance, but it really comes down to these two. It'd be really funny if what happens is these guys are just like fighting in the back for dead last to try to see who can like get the point totals, and then just Ruskov gets like second and just takes it from both of them. But we'll have to see on that.
Gonna be heading to Donut Plains, and it's really cool seeing Sergio at 36, Mitch 41, Green and Chibi, all some of the higher seeds here rising in this one. Aplex as well kind of solidified himself in there as well too.
Well, I
We'll
suppose
have to see.
Chibi would ordinarily be a higher seed, but he's just kind of the last second bum right now that somehow was lucky enough to get in because we needed people. But gotta take the opportunities, I suppose. So
Yeah, I know Green mentioned that to me. Is like, hey, I wonder if I can still do this. It's like, well,
yeah, Green also.
you're going to be
won.
last priority, but I'm guessing you could.
So interesting approach here from Clutch. I think he's
I know,
going.
yeah.
He's opting the running route on DP3, which can be dangerous. But him and Aplex, just even without items, dude. Even without items, they kind of get at each other.
Yeah,
So-
they're just like nail and nail. It's just like Rubbins racing, and Darky I know likes to use this line, and it is going to allow him if he just continues to take these.
I was
He's
thinking
missed.
maybe to go for an item there, but yeah, Chibi is going. So Ruskov's not going to be able to hit him because Chibi took the cut. I kind of actually like the decision to run from Kudge here because there's only 9 people in the room. The
Exactly. I think it was beneficial.
the odds
for
of
him.
well, we'll see if there's a shock. There is a horn, but he's gonna have
That's
to burn
huge.
it on this red. He's gonna have to watch his own banana, which may have actually had a chance at breaking the red. I think Kudge was panicking there for a second because there was another red coming, but
Yeah, what
it
happened
got
to it?
broken.
Oh, here's
And I think
another.
was that going for Chibi? I think
It
Kudge
might
is
have
going to
gone for
make it. If nothing happens, you just got to hold it together, and it looks like he's going to do that at a big final race for Kudge. He's going to make it through.
Wow, what a clutch performance. It looks like Impo got either last or bottom 2 there. So that's huge for him. Not sure where Ruskov finished, but Ruskov there finished 5th. That is
finishing
huge.
in last, and wow, Kudge just takes it, and it doesn't even look particularly close right there. The clutch running performance coming out of our well-known bagger, good stuff to him.
Yeah, came down to the final race. Was kind of a 2 to 3 way battle there at the end, and then Aplex, Green, Sergio, Mitch, and Chibi all easily solidifying themselves in. Yeah, so really, really fun first match. I mean, yeah, there was someone that dropped off kind of partway through, only 10 to start, but kind of sets the bar for the day, and it was really clutch play there by Cudge to put the nail in the coffin there in that final race on Donut Plains.
Get a little bit of the nerves out, realize that you still have ways to go, I suppose. All these people will be playing in either another hour or 2 hours away from now, but well-deserved break. So we'll get back to these guys later, but for now, we'll be taking a quick 10-minute break before the next round. I will be getting replaced on the mic by Sketch, so look forward to that. And we'll see you again in a